right, Jessica's here. Hi, welcome. Come on up. Great. I'm going to I'm just going to share my screen for half a second and there we go. Welcome, powerful women. It's so good to be here once a month. What's interesting for me and Bossy, I don't know if you get the same sense, but you all are with us throughout the month. We're thinking about you. I don't know if I think back on the meetings and the different people who shared and what you said and how I feel about it and how I feel about you, and tap into support when I need it. Think about I'm not alone in this world and that kind of thing. So that's why I personally love doing these things. Is that similar for you, Vasi?
Yes, it is. It feels like even though a different group shows up every month, we do have some people that show up every single month, that we're this body of energy. I guess that's how I describe it,
Yeah.
and connected, whether we're here or not each month. Yeah, each of you is part of the circle of our energy.
Yeah. And some of you are circling back after several months or couple months, and we just know you can pick up right where you left off with us anytime. And for that, but we do have an intention each time. They are slightly different. And I thought somebody here who is not Vasi and I would like to read the intention for today. Is there anyone who would like to just get right into the energy? Yeah, Deborah.
The intention is to create a sacred space for women leaders who are steeped in wisdom to access juicy feminine energy and enjoy more flow in your life, rejuvenate your soul, and radiate vitality, cultivate harmony, and elevate your joy, prioritize you and your vision, and create a magical year.
Anybody else up for that?
Woohoo.
All right, I'm going to stop share now. And see, thank you, Jessica. We're so happy you're here too. So, to that degree, I'm going to turn it over to Vasi for one of my favorite parts of our sessions, which is to get centered.
Yeah, so I'm going to invite everyone. I don't think anyone's driving, so I think we're all safe to close our eyes if you'd like. And as you close your eyes, just take a deep breath here and just consciously on the out breath, just let go of anything, any tension maybe you're holding in your body, your shoulders, your back, your neck. The next breath, breathe in and just gather up any thoughts, busy mind, distractions. On the out breath, let go of those thoughts. And the next breath, maybe put your hand on your heart. Just feel your heartbeat. Just become aware of this precious body, this precious vehicle we take within us into our lives, into our day. And I'm going to take us to a place you're invited to see it, feel it, hear it, sense it. And this is a beautiful place in a sacred forest. And each one of us is walking up, and there's a special seat that's there for you. And as we walk up into this circle of chairs, the seats, whatever they look like, find one that feels perfectly right for you. Have a seat. And we're encircled by these beautiful trees. And just sense the beautiful trees around you, the branches, the smell, the birds chirping in the distance. And this is a very sacred place. We're gathered here. And this is an opportunity to acknowledge what's went well for you, maybe since the year started, maybe this past week. And just feel into your heart, notice what you did for yourself, perhaps what you're proud of. And what do you appreciate about the relationships that you cultivated? connections that you made with others. And how your core energy, the essence, the best of you, showed up. Just acknowledge that for yourself. Perhaps there's an experience or a memory. And allow that core energy, that essence of you, to radiate from within you till it fills your whole body with a sense of expansion and power and a sense of groundedness that this is who you are. This is who you've always been, this light. And in the middle of our circle, I'm just going to direct your attention. The middle of our gathering circle is a campfire. And just see that campfire in the middle, feel the warmth, see the flames. And this campfire is a place where we let go of anything that's in the way of that beautiful core energy, your essence. So perhaps there's some harsh judgments that you've made of yourself lately. Feel free to throw those into the fire. Maybe there's some negative self talk or self criticism that you've had. Feel free to throw that in the fire. Any place where you've noticed that you've been hard on yourself or others, set an intention to put that into the fire, to be transmuted, alchemized, released. And as each one of us are putting things into the fire that no longer serve us, that fire becomes brighter and yet contained. And then the flame dies down a little bit. And now we're going to look at any promises to yourself. So, what would you like to create? So, in other words, what's something that you want to nurture or develop this year? And look at it in terms of an area of your life. What would you like to nurture or develop this year? An area of your life. Is it relationships? Is it health? There's many more areas. So for yourself, what feels right to you? And in that area of your life, how do you want to show up for yourself? Who is it that you would like to be in that area of your life? For example, patient or courageous or compassionate. What's the state of being that you would like to bring into that area of your life? And notice how that feels to embody it now, not in some far off time, but in this moment now. And feel that in your body. Feel that in your breath, in your heart, that state of being. And then, where there's one final question to ask yourself, what would loving yourself more look like this year? What would loving yourself more look like for you this year? It could be in that area of life you've chosen, or it could just be in general. And see that, feel that. Perhaps it's a habit, a practice. And then take a breath, feel your feet on the ground. And when you're ready, you can gently open your eyes and come back to this circle here. And perhaps you can still feel the trees, the wisdom of the trees with us. And if anyone's feeling a little spacey, feel free to rub your ears. I sometimes do that with the meditation, maybe wiggle your toes on the ground. And feel free to take a few notes right now on anything that stood out to you. If there's anything you want to capture, a feeling, a sensation, the area of life you chose to nurture or develop this year. Looks like we'll take maybe another 30 seconds or so to wrap up whatever you're writing. I'm noticing right now I can even smell the campfire. All the things that we threw in there. I feel like I can that smoky smell. So good job, everyone. Thank you for playing with me, for playing together with that. Mm. So we look forward to hearing from each of you. We have a couple questions to introduce ourselves. So say your name, where you're from, what you're up to in the world. And I think, Laura, did you want to share a slide or put it in the chat?
Yeah, put it in the chat for you so you can.
Okay.
Mhm.
And then the second thing is, what area of your life do you want to nurture this year?
Mhm.
And Laura put in the chat. So again, the first thing is your name, your location, and what you're up to in the world. And then the second is what the area of life is you want to nurture or develop this year. And who would like to start us off? Jessica, your eyes are really big. I feel like you want to go first.
I'm happy to go first. I'm happy always to go first. Laura knows that about me too. But I always like to wait for a second just to see if someone else wants to go first. But, so I am Jessica Sudine. I am in Calgary, Alberta, Canada, near the Rocky Mountains. What am I up to in the world? I am keynote speaking and delivering workshops that spread kindness. That's what I'm doing, and teach kindness and empathy and compassion. The area of life that I want to nurture and develop this year all is around my impact and getting out of my own way to prioritize a little smarter and a little more caring for myself, to prioritize my stuff so that I can really let go of the silly to-do lists and really go on to that creation bit of my gift for the world. Yeah.
Beautiful. So self-kindness, it sounds like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And really that prioritizing this year is so important in order to knock out the things that have the deadlines so that I'm really not under the gun or behind that sometimes stifles the creative process for me. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And it's been working well so far. It's been a good year.
Yay, congratulations.
Thank you. And can I also say something to the whole group? I really felt everyone in that forest. You know, like it's that held energy. Like as soon as I walked in and And as soon as he started saying like, let go of some stuff that you're beating up, like I just felt like, oh, and I'm being witnessed to throw all this away. This is so great. So
Mm,
a deep thank you to everybody.
yeah, I agree. I felt everyone played full out on that for sure. Yeah, thanks, Jessica. Who's up next?
I'll go. Oh,
Mhm.
go ahead, Deborah. Go ahead.
Okay, I'll go third.
All righty, let's see. Where did you say it in the chat here? Okay, my name is Selena Billings. I am in Southern California, and what I'm up to in the world is educating people about blockchain. And the area of my life that I want to nurture or develop this year is I recently brought in two strategic partners, and they're leaders, and so they're just running around in 22 different directions, just like I am. And so they're challenged with, focusing on the learning about our cooperative. And so what I wrote down specifically is what I want to nurture and develop relationships with other leaders in a compassionate and kind and gentle way that shows self-respect and most of all, reverence to God. So the whole purpose is not to push, it's to be understanding, compassionate. I know you guys are really, really trying to do all the things, and I want to support your things too. And so how can we collaborate in a loving way so that nobody feels rushed or pushed, or because I hate that feeling.
Yeah, thanks, Selena.
So I'm next. Deb Valentina. I'm in San Diego. And what I'm up to in the world, I am a coach for women, and my focus these days is on empowering women to write their story or their how-to book. And it's very exciting. And the women that I'm helping are writing phenomenal books, like really phenomenal books, every single one of them, including you, Vasi. Um,
Thank you.
and what area of my life I wrote down is in my movement practice. Spirit is telling me I need even more movement. So the qualities I want are consistency and count on ability that I will do this for my movement practice. And I'm quite excited about it. I do Nia twice a week. I'm doing yoga twice a week, and I'm walking twice a week. And then I have like wiggle room for the seventh day. But it's been working thus far, and my body is very happy with it. It's like, yeah, we could have done this before, but we are not going to beat you up. So that's good. Yeah. So more movement,
Yay,
more movement.
great. What a nice balance between those two, the variety and the diversity.
Yes. Yeah, it's a good combo for sure.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Great. Thanks, Deborah.
You're welcome.
Mm.
Well, I'll go next. I'm Anne Marie. I am in a little mountain town in the Blue Ridge Mountains of North Carolina. It's a little north of Asheville. Let's see, what am I up to in the world? Now, I think I would say I'm holding space for healing. I live in an energy zone right now where there's a lot of trauma from Hurricane Helene. And And so I'm doing a lot of physical service as well as soul service, I guess you could call it. I'm also serving at the bedside of people who are making their transitions as a end-of-life direct care doula. So let's see, the area of my life that I want to nurture and develop this year is really kind of my full intention for 2025, which is to really nurture my relationship, my trust, and my love, myself and my soul love. I'm creating and beginning a practice, a daily practice. Vasi kind of challenged me on this 100-day project thing, but I've decided that it's really just what I'm calling my soul channeling every day. To just really, really be in that deep listening to my soul voice.
Mm.
Because there's a lot swirling for me right now. So I want to really tune into what I call a fantastic adventure in trusting my higher soul self. Faith is my word for the year, my energy for the year. So fantastic adventure in trusting my higher self. That's me.
Oh, yes. Yes, yes, yes to all of that, Anne-Marie. Thank you for sharing that.
Lovely to be here. It's lovely to be in the energy of this circle. Thank you.
Thank you for contributing to that.
Boy, you guys are a hard act to follow. Wow. And I'm moving to Canada. Jessica, I hope you have an extra room because we got to get out of here. My name is Rena.
Very welcome.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm not joking. My name is Rena Lichtenfeld, and I am in Nashville, Tennessee. I am what I'm up to in the world. I am, as a higher education consultant, I am trying to keep my campus clients sane in this environment. There's a lot of fear, and there are impacts that are being realized already on our campuses across the nation, and it's frightening. And we're in the business of helping campuses navigate difficult times. I don't know if that we're equipped to do that right now, but that's what I'm up to in the world. Area in my life that I want to nurture or develop. I said I have a long answer to this, but Vasi, every word that you were saying, I was like, how is she reading my mind about the things that are going on? I've actually kind of at the end of the year plugged into this guy named Jesse Itzler, and he if you don't know who he is, he wrote a book. It was like My Month Living with a SEAL, with a Navy SEAL, and he also has one that he wrote that was like living with a monk. It's like no speaking. But anyway, he's also married to the lady that invented Spanx. But they're both very independently amazing people. And he has an end of the year thing where he talks about three things. One is everybody should work on a misogi, which is a Japanese word, and it's kind of like this big audacious goal. That's not exactly what it means in Japanese, but that's the translation for the purposes of this. And then the second thing is he has a buddy that his name is Kevin, and he has this philosophy like every 6 weeks or 6 times a year, you should have a mini adventure. So there's the 6 Kevin's rules, and then there's at least every quarter work on a quarterly habit. So I went to I went down the rabbit hole investigating this Jesse Itzler, and he has a running club, or it's more than a club. Every year he does this thing called Running Man in Rome, Georgia. And so my Misogi and my Kevin's rules and my quarterlies are really kind of focused on, not unsimilar from Deborah, but like trying to focus more on my health, my physical health, my mental health, my emotional health, overall. And so my year is kind of around those things. So like one of the Kevin's rules was we went to New York City as a family, and we experienced something together that was really special. And so that was very nurturing for my soul to be with family. So that's the idea. I won't go into too much more detail, but very informally, I do have a hard things, fun people gathering. If anybody's interested in joining next week on March 6th, for a very informal group of people to chat about those three things: their misogis, their quarterly goals, and and the Kevin's rules. But I just want to take it back to one thing that Basi was saying. Last year, if we were doing this last year at this time, I don't think I would have had a good answer of like what's gone well so far in your life. But because right now it's so easy to focus on a lot of really hard stuff that's going on. But as I was thinking, it's only like, 6, 7 weeks in, and I'm like, oh, there's been a lot of crappy stuff, but there's been so many good things too. I finished a 5K on Sunday that I've been training for. Yay, my fourth one in 6 months. Asked me a year ago if I would ever have run in my life. No. But I was thinking about, because I started those Jesse Itzler things at the end of December, just even being intentional, and you use the word
Yeah.
intentional about my year, it's already like, wow, 7 weeks in, and I can point to a number of things that are kind of in alignment with what I just said, being better physically, emotionally, and spiritually. Is that what I said? But don't you get what I was saying? So
Yep. Yep.
it's amazing. And so thank you
Great.
for doing that, and also being aligned with my brain, apparently.
That's so great, Rena. Yeah, that intentionality that we carry. I mean, we forget the power. We can forget the power that it has. But yeah, it's amazing when we align with that. Exactly.
Mhm.
So fun to be in the forest with you all. And by
Right?
the way, the chairs that I had us all in, they were all those like spa chairs but they were made out of wood instead of like ceramic, and they curved to your back, and we're all like lounging in front of this fire. And that was so great to be there. And just from all your shares, it's like I am so glad I'm in this group. Just like Emery, you were saying, the energy here is great, and that's why we do this. My area, well, hi, I'm Laura Rubenstein, and then I'm gonna have Basi go. And I'm in San Diego. What I'm up to in the world is not only hosting these feminine wisdom circles, because I am passionate. I am the creator of the Feminine Power cards, which we'll talk about in a little bit. And I also am a marketer in my bread and butter world, shall we say. The area of my life I want to nurture this year is sleep. I am being in bed by 11 and by sleep by 12, and that may sound late for everyone else, but for me that would be a really good thing. So Rena, if you could put the hard things, happy people info in the chat, that would be great. Yeah, so I want to nurture that, and it's something I've said a lot, and so what I'm in every year I kind of say I got to get better at this, I got to get better at this. So Vasi, but when you and I were talking before, you were talking about resistance, and I'm in this thought process of, well, what, I'm in a curiosity place. Why isn't it happening? I always have this intention, and then it doesn't happen. And am I resisting something? I'm just so, I just love to go with my energy and stay up and do stuff at night. And there are times when I just say, you know what, I'm just going with it. But then it becomes a habit. And that's not the habit I want to create, following the habit. So that's a hard thing for me. It's a hard thing, but it's not like I don't relate to it as a hard thing, but maybe I do. Sometimes I used to beat myself up for it more. Before, now I just want to shift it. Like it's a choice. So that's my share. And yeah. Bossy, do you want to share yours?
Sure. I'm Vasi Huntalis, and I'm a mindset mentor and intuitive coach. And I'm all about getting inner obstacles out of the way, helping people get the inner obstacles out of the way so that they can live their purpose, their vision, whatever that looks like. And I'm in San Diego. Let's see what else. What I'm up to right now, well, is basically that, just supporting women to live their purpose in the way that's most aligned and in flow for them. I'm all about flow, as Laura knows, some of you know. The area of my life I want to nurture, develop, it's different than it would have been a week ago if you asked me this. And I'll share more about what's happened to me the last 5 days that contributed to that. But my focus now is on physical strength. Physical strength. Yeah.
Yeah, so welcome, KB. I'm not sure who that is exactly, but you're welcome to join us and participate. We're going to move into the part where we talk about those feminine power cards. Many of you know about them. Some of you have a deck. We always have a theme for each of our gatherings here from one of the cards. And this may not surprise you, but today's theme is love yourself more.
Oh, wow.
And so the way the feminine power cards are designed is on the pink side is the feminine power principle, on the blue side is the practice. And there are 3 types of practices. One is a contemplation, one is something to do, an action, and the other is something to affirm. And this one happens to have a heart at the bottom, which is the code for contemplation. So the contemplation question you can take into your month is, what is the most loving thing I can do for myself? What is the most loving thing I can do for myself? I'll put it on the screen if you want to see. And the principle is love yourself more. So it's perfect because, we were guiding you here all along, of course, in today's session, but we want to take this concept deeper, kind of like Rena, you did, and just share a little bit more of about that. What if you, and think about this question, what if you could give up being harsh about the promises you make to yourself? What if you could being harsh to yourself about the promises you make to yourself? Be willing to notice when you're being harsh. And if all you did that year, this year, would be giving, my opinion, was to give up being harsh on yourself and cut yourself some slack and be kind to yourself, that would be huge. Really, really huge. Vasi, is there anything you want to say about that?
Yeah, I feel like I'm right in the midst of this right now. And I had a commitment, a promise I made to myself from the beginning of the year to do a certain some certain physical activities every day. And I had such consistently, and I was doing it so well. I wanted to start doing strength training, but I have some tendonitis in my shoulder, and I was being very careful to building it up. And I'd worked on PT for 4 months last year. And then in Saturday, I ended up in urgent care with a shoulder that I could not lift, with the pain. My body was shaking. I was in so much pain. I thought I had torn a rotator cuff. Turned out it was severe inflammation, tendonitis all around my rotator cuff. So I still can't raise my arm. I'm feeling a lot better. But I started realizing, oh my God, I made this promise to myself and now I can't keep it. And I'm also on writing chapters with Deborah as my book coach. And so there was also that promise I made to myself about this next chapter, which was to be due on the 27th. So it's like I had an opportunity. Could I beat myself up, or could I be compassionate and nurturing and adaptable, right? Because it's still going to happen. All those things are still going to happen. I'm going to find a way, determined, I'm committed. What good does it do to beat myself up, to be harsh? And so it's like, what's the bigger promise I'm going to make? The bigger promise I'm going to make is to take good care of myself through this and get to a place where I can do that strength training. And so I'm doing a deeper level of healing. For the shoulder, it wasn't ready to do strength training. I hadn't even used weights yet, you know? So anyhow, this is the experience I'm really present to, and I'm realizing the opportunity, as any of us do. You know, when something doesn't go the way we think, how can we allow in the knowing that there's good in this, right? I always say that to myself, no matter what it looks like, this is happening for my highest good. So then what? Then what do I do? Then what do I feel? Then how do I show up? Then what do I let go of? So, yeah.
So we wanted to do a round of sharing, and that is so perfect, Vasi, that things happen in our life, and then we can come to this call and reframe it and use it. And Rena, you did the good job of this too, of saying, hey, if this happened a year ago, I'd have a different response. But now we're taking our whole ability to make an impact and our ability to love ourselves more than to a different place. So let's love ourselves more, and let's think about this area we all shared, and what is the most loving thing you can do for yourself. Take a minute to just kind of contemplate what is the most loving thing, and you may already have a list of things, but what is that going to be? And like for me with sleep, I want to, well, first of all, I came public with it. Second of all, I am going to, yeah, I don't know. I had something, but now I feel like I'm falling back onto old things that may or may not work. And I think the one of the keys is to definitely turn off my computer by 10, which is going to be hard, believe it or not. I know people are like, yeah. But if I get it turned off between 10 and 11, then I can be in bed between around 11 and sleeping by 12. So I'm going to see how that goes. I'm writing it down. Who wants to go next? Brina.
Well, I had an epiphany after my run. And so I think that's going to be my strategy I was thinking about what I said. Like, I really didn't ever think I was going to be a runner. And looking at my strengths as a strengths coach, my there you have 34 talents, and if you really nurture them, they become strengths. My top 5 are positivity, ideation, strategy or strategic, activator, and woo. My number 33 is discipline, meaning it is not a strength for me. So what I realized was part of my issues with food and with finances and with working out has always been my discipline or lack thereof. And I have other places. Those are 3 major places I need to focus my strengths on. And so I used my strengths to mitigate for the fact that I haven't been disciplined. So I started to post accountability posts on Facebook because people will respond to them and give me positive reinforcement, which was giving me positive energy, which kept me going. So that was my idea. That was my strategy. was able to take action on it because I'm an activator, and other people kind of feed into that and give me that woo, piece of it. So that has really worked for me as a strategy. So when I think about the things that I want to do, and let's take finances for example. If I want to be more disciplined around my finances, instead of beating myself up as I always do, like, why am I still doing this? What, you're 53 years old. What is your problem? I need to refocus and be like, well, you just did this in your health category, which has always plagued you. And why couldn't you apply the same strengths into being being better financially, like better healthy financially? So it's about mitigating for that discipline. And so I'm just realizing that now. But to answer the question of, instead of beating myself up like I did for years and years about my physical activity, doing something that will lead into what I'm most naturally plugged to do to make it work for me. That's what I'm going to do.
Nice.
Jessica, you want to go next?
Yeah. So this is what I can do for myself, right?
Yeah. What's the
Right.
most loving thing you can do for yourself?
So I think the most loving thing that I can do for myself is the physical activity. So it's funny, Vasi, when you were talking about your shoulder. So I was doing some caregiving in 2023, and when I got home, I had this crazy pain in my shoulder. I couldn't lift it up farther than here, and it turned out to be capsulitis, otherwise known as frozen shoulder. But after going through some really painful 4 months of that, all of a sudden I met this gal who does kettlebells online. And I actually encouraged her to come to this. She's a new, very good friend of mine. But it was great because what it did was I did what I could. So with one arm, and I'm left-handed, so I'm not as strong with my right. So I started using the kettlebells, and then I would be like, oh, I can do two arm little swings, but I can't move my shoulder past this, so I won't do that. But I tried to do everything else. I said, your shoulder isn't stopping you from doing a sit-up. It's stopping you from doing a push-up. One, I'm not doing a one-armed right-handed push-up. Let's be honest. I'm also about to turn 51. I'm like, no, none of that. It may happen once my shoulder's better. But the thing was, it was like, if you make it work for however it looks like right now, that movement, those natural endorphins, like all of it was so positive with every other facet of my life. Like, it gave me such a confidence to think, well, I'm not this injured little bird. Come on now. You've got calf muscles, quads, hamstrings, all this kind of stuff. So the most loving thing that I can do for myself is fitting in, even if it's 30 minutes of some muscle building something. Yeah. Yeah. Huge. And Vasi, it took my shoulder almost a year to let go, but I didn't stop trying, moving, all that.
Yeah.
And I let go September 13th of this past fall.
Congratulations, Jessica. That's
Thank
awesome.
Means that I can get on my motorcycle again. So, yes.
Well, that's important. Yeah.
Well,
Deborah, I'm wondering, if you wanted to go, since
yeah,
we need to
I'm
leave
gonna
at 5.
go next, and it's on this physical stuff, and a number of things that responding first to some of the things that you've said. One is around overdoing it and not paying attention to what's actually going on. So on Friday, this is very recent. So on Friday, I went to this new Groove program, and I don't know if any of you have heard of it. It's all over Facebook, at least on my feed. And it's 50 minutes of dance and then 10 minutes of winding down with yoga. And so literally you're dancing nonstop for 50 minutes. and I wasn't paying attention. And I felt great at the end of it. And then I woke up on Saturday morning and my whole left side was screaming at me. I could, I just I was in pain. I'm like, I wasn't paying attention as I was doing. I was so gung ho. I'm going to do this movement thing. And so what it did is it stopped it temporarily, I'll say temporarily, the good progress I was making because I wasn't able to then exercise on Saturday and Sunday. Um, and so it just the what is
I'm not hearing Deborah. Is anyone having that problem?
No, we can hear her.
Yeah. So I'm gonna just say, what is the most loving thing out of that? What is the most loving thing I can do for myself? Is to pay more attention to actually what is going on in my body at the time that I'm doing it. To have a balance between, yes, I'm gonna do this, but not going to from nothing to, 110 miles per hour. So, yeah. And I just know that also, I just would say I'm 71 and I keep thinking I'm 21. And so I keep thinking and literally in my mind, I kind of still do think I'm 21. So I have to remember that my body is not the 21-year-old body that I had. So anyway, that's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
You go, Deborah.
Yeah.
Yay.
So I'll jump in. I'm Anne Marie, and I'm 73, Deborah. And let me tell you, I just love this conversation we're having. So the most loving thing I can do for myself, and I have to say, I'm going to celebrate that I did it today, which is to remember to check in with all parts of myself before I make a decision, especially about my body, which, I mean, we could talk a lot about frozen shoulders, Jessica. 8 years of them. But anyway, I've been telling myself strength training, strength training, strength training. You have no muscle mass. This is not good in your 70s. So there's this free class right across the street at the Weaverville Community Centers every Monday, every Tuesday, and every Thursday at 8 a.m. for free. So I was all ready. Yeah, I'm going to this. I'm focusing my entire week. I'm going to do yoga Monday, Wednesday, Friday. I'm going to do my strength training Tuesday, Thursday. Emailed with the instructor. She gave me all answers to my questions. And then I thought, you have never done high impact interval training. You really need to think about, what is this? So I did a bunch of research on it today. And I read all about the fact that most beginners really need to start with 15 to 20 minutes max. You're not going to a 30 to 35-minute class, girl.
Yeah.
You're going to find a way to start small. And maybe you'll work your way up to the 30 to 35-minute high impact, not low impact. So, but I'm right there with a lot of this conversation about how important it is. For me, it's about the self-care and the soul care. And that integration of the two and the consistency. So I've decided I can find a way to do my strength training Tuesdays and Thursdays, either somewhere like on YouTube or something. Got my weights ready to go. Bossy looks like she still can't hear us.
No, I can hear, but I'm sorry. I need to go get my computer cord. It's about to ready to die.
Oh, okay.
Okay, no worries.
All right,
I'm
you're
not
up,
my
you're up,
usual
Selena.
All right. So what I need to do is join a Zumba class. I love to dance, and I already work out. I have a Nordic Trek rowing machine and an elliptical machine that I use almost daily. So I do all that. But I want to do something more fun. So I want to join a Zumba class. And I also want to pick up my guitar. I have a guitar like literally sitting in my room that I never pick up. I just look at it every day and say, I want to play you. And when I pick it up, I can't press my fingers down on the strings because it's been so long that it hurts. And so those are the two things that are really important to me. And just Vasi's left now, but
I'm here.
I had a challenge. Oh, cool. I had a challenge. I'd never done a push-up before. I shouldn't say never. I did it when I was younger. And a friend of mine said, you really want to try and start doing some push-ups. And I'm 63 this year. So I started doing one a day, and I just thought I'll just add one. I'll just keep adding one. And then I got up to 75. And I got to the point where like literally my stomach and everything, I was like, I almost had like a six pack. I was like, whoa, I've never looked like this before. And then all of a sudden, like literally my birthday of last year, I had an appendectomy out of the blue. I had an appendectomy. And so for a full year, I couldn't do anything, involving my core. It was way too painful. And so I just had to wait it out, and it's finally come back now. And so, I kept asking myself that very question. Okay, God, this is what is. I can't pretend that it's not what is. I can't also pretend that like I understand why this happened. Of course you ask all those questions. What did I eat? What did I do? How did this happen? I am a very healthy person and largely eat lots of vegetables. And so it was just shocking. But anyway, I'm so sorry, guys. I have to jump off for a 5 o'clock call. And so I just wanted to share my part and hopefully hear from Rena before I leave. Tell us, Rena, what do you want?
Arena went
I-
first.
I went first. Yeah. I
That's right.
I was just sharing some other things that I've been doing for strength
Oh,
training.
that's right. That's right. You
Yeah.
did. So how about you, Laura? I haven't heard from you.
So I'm the one who got turn my computer off by 10.
By 10.
That was my thing. But I did want to
Oh,
share
that's
with
right.
all of you something that another thing I want to get into, which has to do with movement. I have a rope. It's called rope flow or flow rope. Has anybody else heard of it? I know, Vasi, we did it
Yeah.
at the last retreat.
Right.
I
I know that.
finally bought my rope because at the retreat, at our last women's retreat, I actually had everybody just bring a sweatshirt and use the arms as the rope, but it's really good for the brain. It's really good for moving our body crossing the midline of our brain. And that really helps us to our brain health. And Anne-Marie, you were thumbs upping it. Have you done it? No,
Oh, you're muted, Anne-Marie.
A friend of mine here has been posting her videos of doing it. It looks like a lot of fun.
We
Yeah.
had so much fun doing it. Yeah, at a
And
retreat.
it's
Yeah.
not jump roping, but you use kind of a heavier jump rope
Mhm.
and you kind of move it kind of like in flow motions across your body and around, and it almost becomes like a dance. A lot of men do it, but it's it's low impact. At the same time, it builds stamina and it's cardio. So, and it does build your core muscles up too. So look it up. I think it's called flow rope. And I got a rope on Amazon. And bye, Selena. Thanks for being
Bye,
here.
Selena.
Bye.
Thanks
Love
for
you.
coming.
Love you all.
Love you
Bye.
too.
Giant love.
So,
And you
yeah.
had some videos, right, Laura?
Yeah, there were
go
some
and find them on
videos
YouTube?
that have beginner rope flow. In fact, here I'll share my screen just in case. Share the sound, but I don't like 22 rope flow exercises combos. It looks really fun to do, and all of you should have Grammarly, of course. And let's see, you can see I'm doing it a little bit here. It'll get clearer in a second, but You know, you don't have to go that fast in the beginning, obviously. And these guys who are like all muscle are doing these things, and but it starts doing different things for your body, and it puts juice in the joints, as they say. Let's see. And so he's just doing that. Okay. Broken dragon roll. So there's something called the dragon roll that you do without stopping. But that's nice because looks pretty easy, right? But it's innocuously very good for you.
What I remember, it was a really nice warm up, like you said, juicing the joints.
Isn't that cool?
Yeah, very cool.
Super cool.
So I
Yes,
just
I
wanted-
recently heard from an instructor, motion is lotion for the joints.
Mm.
Motion is lotion.
So
that is pretty cool. But I
Yeah.
will say that the MetaQuest thing that I've been doing is way cooler.
what is
Oh.
MetaQuest?
It's way cooler. So it is hard to describe, but it's virtual reality. So you wear a helmet.
Oh yeah.
Just get a second to get used to it. But in your hands, you hold the sabers, like a lightsaber, but they're like these joystick looky things. But basically it has, and they have flow, they have meditation, they have stretch, and boxing. And so you're in a virtual area, but like for 40 minutes today, I was like kind of doing those same motions that they just showed, like, you know, using a saber in different directions and squatting and lunging, and it's pretty cool. And it's just fun. So I recommend it. The Supernatural is their active, like, you know, building on strength training and
Cool.
such, but the flow looks cool too.
So many
Well-
good resources came out of today.
Wow.
You know, Marina, thank you for sharing the books and the ideas of Misogi. And yeah, so that's, you know, this is the Women's Wisdom Circle and Feminine Wisdom Circle. And this is what, when we women come together, we are unstoppable. We can support each other. And I want to acknowledge you all for just being love, bringing your love to this call, to as being witness, because as we share, we declare. And your love makes a difference for all of us. You know, for me, I know I can, you know, when I'm going to bed tonight, guess what I'm thinking about? You guys and what I said to all of you women. And you know, we got this. We got you. We have your hearts. And we have each other's hearts. And so hopefully my intention is that our harsh voices are replaced with each other's love. Yeah. Thanks, Emery.
Yeah.
That when we tend to use our harsh voices on ourselves, that we hear the answer of love, and it softens us to that. So yeah, Bossy, how would you like to?
The questions that's coming to me is like a practice for us that I think would be really supportive during this month is, what is the most self-loving thing I can do for myself today? Like on a daily basis, to ask that question.
Yep.
Because along with this commitment that we've made about the most loving thing we're going to do for ourselves in general, it's like, I feel like that's an ongoing question that may shift and change each day, an additional thing. So for example, Laura, you're going to bed 10 o'clock, but then there might be something else, right, that comes up when you ask that question. It might be like, I asked me that question last
All the
night
time.
and I wanted an orange. And my neighbor's orange tree had dropped some oranges in the backyard. And I was like, and it was so good, you know? And it was like, it can show up in any number of ways to support our body or our soul or any area of
love
our
it.
life.
And that reminds me, if you don't have your deck of feminine power cards, you can certainly grab one on our website. And both Vasi and I, if you haven't had your 15 minutes, 20 minutes with each of us, you are welcome to schedule yourself, or if you have something you want to talk about, please schedule yourself. for either Vossi's Unlock Your Next Level of Impact session, or with me, Unlock Your Feminine Influence Code, or beyond. So thank you so much for being here. It's a juicy time, as Selena said. Good to see you, Deborah, and Anne-Marie, and Jessica, and Rena.
Bye.
Yeah.
Mwah.
Much gratitude for each one of you.
Yeah.
Thanks for
Yes.
showing up. And
This was
being
so
with us.
good. Thank you. I
Thank you.
needed this today.